Okay, this has been on my mind for a while now, and I've had a friend, I'm not gonna mention any names, he sent me a screenshot where he found out that his picture was posted in the Are We Dating the Same Guy San Diego edition Facebook group. And I've told you guys before, if you look at my earlier content, that that group is so toxic. I myself was curious to see what it was like being in there, and they kicked me out the moment I brought a solution to them because it's a community filled with single women that are complaining and looking for stories and looking for some kind of gossip to trash talk about the guys that they are dating. They are looking to see like, oh, this guy is a cheater because XYZ. Oh, this must be a red flag. Oh, he's a walking red flag because XYZ. If you really think about it, you guys, a truly confident feminine woman is not gonna waste her time talking trash about what did not work for her. And I've said this before, the way I perceive those groups, it's a community of pick-me-ville. Losers, people who suck at relationships and who suck at attracting quality dates. They go there to justify their anger, to complain, because let's face it, it feels good to complain sometimes. When you're angry, it feels good to vent. So I hear women all the time like, oh, I'm just in that group because it's so entertaining. That's what you tell yourself, right? But back to the friend, again, I'm not going to mention any names. He sent me the screenshot, and he sent me the screenshot of the text messages of the girl that posted him on there. He did some digging and information. Some girl snitched on her, apparently, and passed the information to him. And he found out that this same girl that thanked him for not taking advantage of her because he realized, I'm just not the guy for you. I'm not really in a position to be long-term right now. And she's like, oh my God, thank you for not taking advantage of me. You're a really sweet guy. He's like, of course. And he was forthcoming about, having 4 children. And he knows that's really difficult to include that when building a long-term relationship. But she goes ahead and goes behind his back and posts his picture in that group, telling lies like, oh, he's talking to multiple women and he took advantage of me, blah, blah, blah. So back to these ladies that justify its entertainment. They're getting entertained over stories that are lies. It's a vicious cycle. If you say you're open to calling in a quality partner or a quality date, the kind of date that leads to a marriage and children to build a legacy with, you are not going to find it in that community. That community is so committed to their victimhood that they're willing to make up lies for the sake of this fake entertainment. That's the reality. If you want to attract a relationship that leads to marriage and children, you got to change your circle and you got to change the vibe. You got to change the content that you're consuming. I've mentioned this already before. And a lot of these women nowadays, they have such high standards. And rightfully so. I totally get why. But be realistic when you do have these standards. You can't just be, an overweight woman feeling entitled to his money, feeling entitled to princess treatment, and feeling entitled to attract this 10 out of 10 guy. You also got to put in the work on yourself. And I don't mean just physical beauty, okay? That's just a piece of it. I can't stand when people lie saying, oh, beauty doesn't matter. Actually, it does. But beauty, not just on the outer appearance, also on the inside, as far as how do you handle your emotions? Do you convey grace under pressure, or do you react and use petty behavior on people? That's the opposite of grace, by the way. So if you hear feedback and you have a tendency to react and make the person feel hurt or small, then you got a lot of work to do to strengthen your inner beauty. Marriage-minded men are in the low 5 to 10% dating pool. I got that statistic from Maria Al-Masani. She's someone that lives amongst the elite. So it's really interesting to hear that. And you ladies need to realize that's the reality of the situation. If your standard is where the dating pool is in that range, then you got work to do. These guys are not going to fall from the sky and fall in your lap and all of a sudden claim you. It doesn't work that way. If a man is acting like a diva, like in the drizzle movement, it is not your job to try to prove him how he's supposed to act. Simply move on. Don't get sucked into drama. That's how you stay a loser. I gotta give it to you straight. Because clearly, me trying to be soft about giving you this information is not working. All right, I just had to say that. And I hope you guys are having a great weekend. Oh my gosh, before I go, I totally forgot to share with you guys. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with entrepreneur Alex Hormozi. He's a co-founder of The School platform. And if I were to summarize The School platform, it's kind of like Mighty Networks, which is another platform full of experts, except in School, you don't have to be an expert. It can be things you just love talking about. But I do plan to create a platform or my classroom in The School full of relationship advice. You're not only going to hear from my tools, you'll also hear from other experts I'll be bringing in and interviewing, other relationship coaches, matchmakers, therapists, anything that's related to strengthening your relational skills. And I feel passionate about this because I'm realizing I'm withholding a lot of information from you guys. It's hard for me to share everything on social media. Instagram and Facebook, they have guidelines. You know what I mean? And a lot of the skills that I've learned is from my past. And I don't know if my fiance wants you guys to know this, but I respect her so much. She doesn't feel comfortable with me sharing about the past where I used to work as an exotic dancer, even though I sort of have already mentioned that. The key things I learned from my past industry is attraction. Originally, I only coached women in that industry because they were intrigued by how a socially awkward girl, me, super shy, how did I transform myself to become so magnetic that I had guys in the club spoiling me. But it's not about making money off of guys, okay? It's about getting what you want because I know how to tap into my femininity. But I didn't know how to tap into my femininity prior to going to the club. And that's why I find sharing about my past so valuable. I also gained so many insights from men that regularly work with me, and they shared me exactly what's missing from their girlfriend or their wife. You'll see all kinds of attraction tips online, and guys will go in on it, but they will tell you what you want to hear. They're not going to tell you what you need to hear. I hear the more honest truth in the club, okay? It's sad, but I've had their ladies stalking my Snapchat accounts, trying to get information about their boyfriend or their husband. Anyway, that's a whole nother thing, and I'm much more comfortable sharing more about that on the School platform. It's like Instagram is PG-13. Well, I'll tell you what, in the School platform, I'll make it more rated mature. I'm not going to do anything crazy, but I'm not going to hold back as much like I hold back on Instagram. So if you're interested in hearing that kind of information and being in that frequency of the winning mindset when it comes to relationships and developing your relational skills so you can position yourself to attract the 5 to 10% marriage-minded men, then join this platform. I will say though, once I start building at least 1,000 members that are in my group, I am going to start turning it into a paid membership. So while it's free, go ahead and join. If you click yes, you're interested in joining on this poll, I'll go ahead and send you the link and you get to be in there for free. Ciao.